Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and once again joined by Eric.
Hi.
Tonight he is Roman.
Yeah.
And we are back for another installment of our coverage of the Salem Strangler, which aired from 1981 to 82. So I'll roll the credits and we will get right into it. So we pick up with Eugene still holding Marlena captive.
Yeah.
Kind of out of his mind, a little obsessive. Um, he wants Marlena to call her receptionist and tell her that she's okay and to cancel all her appointments. Marlena makes the phone call, but it's not to her receptionist, it's to Kayla Brady. Now we have confirmation that it's Kayla Brady because she says before.
hmm Taylor Brady.
So you're right, they kind of just sprinkle the Bradys in and kind of like develop them.
Yeah. Kind of cool.
It kind of reminds me, like, just to pause this for a second, when Kristen
hmm
first came on, she was literally just like she looked like she was a hospital worker. She just had like one quick like background scene talking to a nurse, and that was like her first appearance.
It's so funny.
So she was
I
basically
did,
like extra.
believe it or not, as much of a Kristen fan as I am, I never seen when she first came on.
Well, you started in like the later '90s, right? Like towards the end of her,
96.
yeah,
Yeah.
or mid.
So, and I,
Yeah.
but I have it. I just never watched it. Gotta watch it.
Well, yeah. What people say is true. She really doesn't get interesting until she goes crazy. You saw the best.
Yeah, right.
But back to 1981/82. Marlena makes that phone call while Eugene holds a knife to her face. She's very vague with Kayla, and that's enough to alert Kayla that something's wrong.
hmm
Marlena asked if she could make one more phone call to her foster son, Johnny. So we actually got an explanation of who Johnny is from Marlena.
And it's funny because he's never with her in any of these scenes. They really knew how to get rid of kids and still do.
Right. Um, Eugene lets her make the phone call, and she actually calls Joshua, but he misses the first call. At first, I thought it was Roman because the video quality is not that great.
Right.
I actually didn't. I actually had wrote Roman down, but changed it to Joshua retroactively when she called him again.
Right. Right.
um. So yeah, after some time, Marlena asked Eugene if she could try again, and this time Joshua answers. She says she's unable to take Johnny to the market and to tell him that she loves him. And Joshua can't understand the secret message Marlena is trying to convey to him.
Right.
And she hangs up. Eugene wants Marlena to change into a nightgown he bought her. She does, and
Creepy.
he says that it reminds him of his wife. He said he bought her a similar one because she wouldn't make love to him for months.
Mm.
So, so he forced her to, and he strangled her.
Bizarre.
So this whole time, I'm like, how do we come back from all of this? Like, because this is not the Eugene that I know.
Well, we come back with it because of Marlena's attitude. Marlena does not blame him one little bit. She's like, oh, it's normal. He's just crazy. But he's not the strangler. Even though
Marlena,
everything points to him being the strangler right now.
right.
But she's the only one that doesn't believe it.
Marlena drops her plate on the floor, and when Eugene goes to clean it up, she tries to run out the front door, but he grabs her and throws her to the floor and yells at her to clean it up because they're going to have a nice dinner together.
Yeah.
The phone rings, and almost like simultaneously, like Roman like breaks through the door,
Yeah,
and he has a gun pointed at Eugene.
that was cool.
He arrests Eugene, and Marlena is adamant that she doesn't think he was going to hurt her. She's like, it doesn't. He had a knife for me. Like, yeah, but he wasn't going to hurt me.
And didn't he say he wanted to go upstairs too at some point? That's like
Yeah,
alluding sex. So, are you
yeah,
sure?
that was what he was alluding to before the phone rang and the Roman came.
Right. But no, he did, he's just crazy. Oh, and I wanted to say that did you catch the one line that he said? He said divorced women do strange things. What is
Yeah,
who wrote that line? I'm like, what the fuck? Never heard that. But all
she
right.
she thinks he created a fantasy world, believing he is the Salem Strangler, just because he strangled his wife. So she doesn't. She believes that he strangled his wife, but she doesn't believe that he'll strangle her.
Right. It makes zero sense. Like I don't know what she saw that we didn't see. Like it's just weird, real weird.
Roman says he deals in hard evidence, and all of the evidence seems to point at Eugene.
Mhm.
Eugene is processed and asks Marlena if she's still going to do her radio show. She says yes, and he says he wants her to talk about him and how he put a rock in a scarf and strangled his wife.
Mhm.
He's taken away, and Roman says the scenario he described is very similar to how the other victims were murdered.
Right.
Gwen Davies is brought in to be Eugene's lawyer. Now, do you know who she is? I
Nope.
love Gwen Davies. Like, I love this character. I don't
So
know why. I just love this character.
I made a note of her. I think because she's kind of not seen though, right? For here and there, she's kind of seen, but very little.
Yeah, I don't know why.
She's
Maybe
mentioned a lot,
yeah, but she's on the show for quite a few years. Maybe like
but
close to.
I think that like these clips, I don't know who clip. If you're out there, clipper person, what were you thinking? Like
Some of
these
them
clips are
add to
just
the conversation. Like maybe
all of them. Like most of, I'm like, oh, what's happening? Like, what? And I
and
feel like it's important to the storyline. I'm like, what were
yeah,
you trying to record here?
and
Like,
some
I'm
of
so
them,
confused.
I'm like, okay, why did you even start that clip? Because that seemed pointless. Like,
Right, right. It didn't go with like the storyline. I'm like, I don't know, because even I'm thinking like, okay, so if they're a Marlena fan, and they cut Marlena sometimes, and I'm like,
yeah,
so maybe they're just a fan of Don and Roman. Like, are their scenes cut? I haven't noticed them fade.
some of
So
them
maybe they were,
aren't completed. Some of them aren't. So I
huh?
don't know. That's
I
just all they
don't.
had available, and they just clipped it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what this person was doing, but
I
I don't like it. I don't like it.
don't like it. Um,
Oh, we got to mention Jake from last time. We didn't mention him.
we didn't mention Jake.
No, we forgot. So in the last like whatever round of episodes, we saw Jake finally, who, we know who he is.
Oh,
Don't
did that
want to
happen?
spoil it.
Because I did doze at one point. So did I miss that?
No, well, we like the last time we were talking, remember when we got off, we were like, oh, we forgot to mention Jake was on,
Oh, right, right.
but Jake appeared because Jake is with Jessica, aka
Angel.
Angel,
hmm
and he
Um,
starts getting a little angry.
so Gwen Davies, just to give you a little future insight on her, when Larry Welch is married to Hope and he's like running
Mm.
for public office, I don't know what it was, Senator May or something like that. Gwen is basically his side chick. Like he basically is having an affair with Gwen because Hope won't sleep with him.
Uh,
um, but yeah. Oh, and the actress was in Prom Night, the Jamie Lee Curtis version.
oh, really?
Yeah, she actually in that movie, besides Jamie Lee, has the longest chase scene. Like you
Do you know
actually,
the actress's name?
not off the top of my head.
Hmm. have to look
Um,
her up.
yeah, I
Yeah,
found
yeah.
that, I found that out after the fact because I was watching Prom Night. I'm like, is that Gwen Davies?
So then she got introduced in this storyline too,
Yes,
along with everybody else.
right. We saw a
Very
little bit
cool.
more of Kayla.
Yeah.
Um, Marlena starts to concede that maybe Eugene is the killer.
You think?
She receives a flower delivery from Dawn and Roman.
I
Both
like
in
how every. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
I like how I like how everybody stopped scaring her finally. They
Right.
don't. Nobody scares her again now.
No more
So
shadowy
that's good.
figures.
No more shadowy figures, and there's also no more blaming. Did you notice that too? Like everybody, how everybody was like a red herring. Now it's kind of like, just a different storyline, kind of, yet the same.
Maybe they wanted the audience to feel safe for a minute.
But yeah, I think so. Because they were like Eugene's the killer, and now like Roman and Marlene to get their chance.
Yeah. Um, both men give her cards with her flowers, insisting they take her out to dinner that night to celebrate the Strangler being caught. Marlena calls Don first and tries to postpone plans, and he won't take no for an answer and hangs up.
That was so funny.
So she tries to call him back, and he doesn't answer. So then she tries to cancel plans with Roman, and it's the same scenario. He's not taking no for an answer.
He says, "I'll pick you up in an hour."
Yeah. Dawn arrives first and realizes she received flowers from Roman. And then Roman arrives, and Marlena wants to go out with both of them.
Yeah.
And Don's
But
not
then
happy.
Don,
He's like,
yeah,
still.
Don just leaves. Yeah.
Um,
I thought that was cute. I like that threesome.
yeah, she was like, I'll just go out with both of you at the same time. And Don's like, no, 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 no. Roman seemed
She
more down.
even said, yeah, yeah. She even said threesome. I was like, all right, get it. 1981.
So Marlena ends up just going out with Roman, and she has too much champagne.
Yeah.
But he's a gentleman, and he takes her home. And they share a dance, and she's very flirty, but he doesn't want to take advantage of the situation. Very progressive.
Yeah. That was cute.
And he leaves. Don knocks on the door soon after, and he and Marlena share a very close moment where I thought they were going to kiss.
But then she
She fell asleep standing up.
Don Border. But it was cute. He tucked her in and on the sofa and stuff. That was cute. And kissed her on the forehead.
So I don't know if it's an acting choice or if this is a continuity thread that they actually followed. But in 1992, I remember Marlena having too much champagne and a similar situation happening.
Oh, that's cool. With Roman or I
Yeah,
guess
with Roman.
or
She
Don?
was with Roman at the time. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Um,
but that was more somebody didn't like her. They thought they were trying to take their husband away from her because she was seeing they were her patient, so she kept like slipping champagne in front of her, and she just drank too much, and she got a little loopy.
what in 92?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sounds
Uh,
fun.
have you heard of the Pit storyline?
Does Stefano have to do with it?
No. So the scenario
Shocked.
the scenario I just described, it was basically a jealous wife. Um, she had just had enough of Marlena, and she basically threw Marlena in a pit, like in like an abandoned warehouse, like
Oh.
in the ground. And John somehow, I don't remember the circumstances, but John somehow got stuck down there with her. And this is like a month or two before like the affair started. So this was
Oh,
like
okay.
groundwork for their affair, I guess, because
Wow.
they had this intimate experience together.
The infamous affair.
Yeah. It's so weird because I always think of John and Marlena as the 80s couple, and they are, even, but he thought he was Roman back then. So they're actually more
Right, right.
90s couple.
90s couple. I do want to go back to Johnny. Did you notice where he was? Do you remember where they said he
Colorado.
was? Where Eric always was, remember?
Yes,
When they get rid of kids.
I wasn't sure if I heard it right because we read off screen because we were like, we need to know who Johnny is. So we found out
Right.
who he was, and we find out that he goes away eventually. I think with his
Yes.
birth parents. I think that was his journey. So I
Yeah, with
wasn't
his
sure if he was in
parents.
Colorado with Marlena's parents, like Sammy and Eric always used to be,
Right.
or if he moved to Colorado with his birth parents, since we
Were
never
Marlena's
hear of Johnny again.
were Marlena's parents ever on? Do you know?
Not that I know of. And I think I asked this online and somebody told me no, so no.
Okay.
That feels like a
That's
missed
really funny.
opportunity. There
Yeah,
would
right. Like you would think, like I would have the parents like be somebody like really big just for one episode and come pick up the kids. We're here to take the kids to Colorado. Okay.
we got our first mention of Stefano Demera.
Yes.
He wanted to
Wait.
he wanted to donate a PET scan to the hospital.
Yes, but I thought they mentioned with Anthony, no?
Did
I thought
they?
they
I
mentioned
know
him.
I know they mentioned Tony last time.
I can't remember.
Well, this is the
It
first
was
time
so.
I heard Stefano's name.
Yeah.
And I think he came in 82, so that kind of adds up.
Yeah, I think he was around, but not in this storyline. The way the person edited it.
Um, Maggie seems to be going through a custody battle regarding Sarah.
Yeah, that was interesting,
So
but we
this,
didn't see much.
yeah, we saw like bits and pieces of this. Like Maggie was pregnant and in the hospital, and she's in part of some surrogacy program.
Yeah, I was real curious about it. I'm like, man, I wish this stuff was around because I would love to see this stuff.
Um,
It sounds
so
fun.
she wants Marlena to help her find out who the biological father is,
Hmm.
and we later find out that it's Evan.
Yes.
And I put, but that's not true because I know who her biological father is. It's Neil.
Well, I'm sure there's something that came out where something got mixed up that, maybe we haven't seen or well, whatever.
Right. So Marlena made a comment that Evan should have dropped out of or he should have ripped up the contract when his wife died. So I'm wondering if Evan's wife was a victim of the Strangler.
Yeah, again, like I feel like the Strangler storyline is like not just the Strangler storyline because we're missing a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
Like it's weird.
It's more like an umbrella storyline.
Yeah, and we're missing so much. Like we're missing. Did they show these deaths? Because now, like coming up, we have Jake kind of snapping. Did we see like when did this? Like when did we find that out? I wonder. You figure like he would probably have strangled someone, and then they probably zoomed in on his face, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh shit, it's him. Like,
Yeah, kind
but
of like when they showed Marlena, revealed Marlena was the killer.
in the clips we're watching, what's coming
Yeah.
up. So
Um, Roman mentions he has a younger brother named Marcus Aurelius, and I'm like,
yes,
now that is Bo's middle name, so they must have just changed his first name to Beauregard.
to Beauregard. Yeah, I know. I thought that was weird. I did write that too.
I was like, what? Who?
Yeah,
um, we see Abe with Valerie Grant really quick.
really quick. Link, and they're gone.
Marlena meets with a doctor that says he had Eugene under hypnosis, and when he asked if he killed his wife, Eugene said no. Marlena is able to put together a strong enough case to get Eugene cleared of being the strangler. But now this means the real strangler is still out there.
Yeah, which I guess they took a break with the radio show because we don't see that at all.
Yeah, even though she said she was still going to do it.
But she might have, but maybe this person didn't, record it or miss some episodes.
Right.
And who is Alex Marshall? So
Okay.
John, go ahead.
Alex Alex Marshall is Sarah. No, is Angel Jessica's biological father.
Jessica's
So it,
biological father.
so it's
So he was taking over the hospital, right, or something?
Marie Horton is her mother, and Alex Marshall's her father.
Okay.
Now Marie is the one that became a nun after she found out
Yes.
she was in love with her brother.
Yes. Yes. Good
um,
stuff.
yeah. So Alex Marshall was on the show for a good length of time, like at least 10 years, if give or take a few years.
Really?
And he went to YNR and he played Kathleen Chancellor's husband, boyfriend for a few years.
Okay.
Rex.
So I guess he was a dick on the show because they were not happy that he was voted onto the hospital board or whatever it was.
Yeah, he was kind of like a Victor-esque villain.
Yeah.
More of like a business, like a ruthless business guy. Because they weren't
And
really.
Victor wasn't around yet, right?
No, Victor doesn't come till 85.
Yeah.
And Stefano's still new, so they weren't really into their full.
Speaking of 85, I did look into that DID thing that I was talking about with Jessica and Angel, and I guess it might have been one of the first on air on soaps because the One Life to Live one was 1985 that the Vicky Nikki stuff started
Oh, okay.
via Google. Now I don't know, it could have been in other soaps that weren't around anymore, the
Yeah, you know,
short-lived stuff or
it could have been on Search for Tomorrow, Love is a Many Splendid Things.
right. It could have yeah, it could have been in any or another world even.
Yeah.
Not that I see any signs of it because I'm in 1981 on there.
Um, Marlena is once again being protected by Roman, so he's back to sleeping on her floor. There's a thunderstorm, and she's scared. She receives another threatening phone call from the Strangler, who we now know is Jake, because they keep showing him calling now.
So yeah, they showed him and he says, I've gone, wait, what does he say? I've gone too far. There's no turning back. And he
Something
does the creepy voice. He said that in a creepy voice.
like that. um, so Mark, this is where I kind of got annoyed with Roman because he thought it was good that she was scared now because now she's taking it seriously. And he says something like, "Maybe now you'll listen to a man when he tells you to do something." I was like, "Okay, calm down."
Yeah. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. um. So they start spending a lot of time together, and he's protecting her, but kind of dating her.
Yeah.
Like they go to an arcade, they go out to dinner. At dinner,
And
she
then,
says that she thinks that it's a good idea that he moves into the bedroom.
yeah.
And he, as well as I, took this as into her bedroom, but she meant Johnny's bedroom since he's no longer in there. At least at the moment, he's no longer in there.
Yeah, because he's in Colorado.
Yes. Um, so Roman kind of pulls back and is trying to hide the fact that he has feelings for her, even though it's obvious. And
Yeah.
I don't. Did he tell Marlena he had a date with another woman, so she pretended to have a date with Neil?
Yes.
And she's like, "I may be out all night."
Yeah, that like he was yeah, he's like I guess he's fighting with her just because like he doesn't know how to handle his feelings. That's the way I took it. Like he's just like taking it out on her because he doesn't want to be like I love you, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, I'm dating another woman, and she's like, okay, well I have a date too.
Who knows when I'll be home?
Yeah, exactly.
um, I think that's pretty much all I got, unless you have something else.
I did like when they got some calls. What was it? I got the Marlena score the storm thing, and he went to kiss her or whatever, and somebody called,
Hmm.
and on the phone, it sounded like the Charlie Brown teacher. He was like, what? I was like, that's a fun one. Um,
I think when that phone call happened, I was like, "Oh, it's the Strangler again."
Yeah, so what did I have? Oh, where? So did you miss a part? I'm like, wait, because uh, I wonder, did you see them in the hot tub, the girls?
Oh yes,
Okay.
the girls in the hot tub. Oh, Roman
Yeah, so
had a shirt on, by the way.
yeah. So I have Roman and Marlena went somewhere. I don't know where they were. Where the mirror was broken. Where was that?
Was that her office?
I don't know. And I don't remember there being a mirror in the office, but maybe there was. I just didn't notice it because it's grainy, like you couldn't tell. But
I
it said on the mirror, "Help me, for God's sake, please help me."
yeah. I
And then okay,
I for some reason assumed it was her office. Um,
I wasn't sure
she
where they
says,
were.
and then when that happened, she said they must have been staring at themselves in the mirror and they couldn't take what they did, and that's why they broke.
Okay. And then
Uh,
I have Marlena, Trish, Gwen, and Kayla were all in the hot tub because I didn't know who they were. Some of them, I
mhm,
forgot what Kayla, because it's like blurry, so it was hard to see like if it was Kayla or not. And then I like was going back, and I'm like, okay, because I wanted to know who they were talking in the hot tub talking.
mhm.
And Lee called Marlena upset about Renee,
I was just gonna say, she doesn't like that Tony and Renee are getting so close.
and that's when they mention Bo, Marcus, or
Marcus.
Canius, or whatever it is.
Um,
Um, oh, and then Mary got attacked at Shenanigans.
yes,
So when they don't show Mary at all. So I'm like, I don't know how important she was to the storyline or what. But now see, she got attacked, but they didn't say she was dead. So I'm like, is she not dead yet? Maybe she just got strangled. He didn't finish the job, but she
they
dies later in the hospital.
they said
I don't know.
Mary Anderson, right?
Yes.
So that okay. So she's okay because Mary Anderson is Melissa's biological mother, and
Hmm.
I know she comes back to visit from time to time throughout the 80s.
Okay.
So she's fine.
And then I have Jake called Marlena three different times within the one clip. I have Jake calls Marlena, says Jessica is Angel and needs her help. Jake calls Marlena again, changes his voice a bit, and threatens her because she doesn't want to come to the party.
Hmm.
And then Jake calls again as Jake and asks Marlena to come, but she says she doesn't approve of the marriage. And he says thanks for nothing and hangs up. I'm like, okay. Um, yeah, I have Mickey. Mickey called Marlena about Melissa running away from school, but we don't know anything about that storyline.
I guess within the next year or so, they adopt Melissa
Right.
because from like 80, like at least mid to late 83, what I've seen, she's like already living with them and they're like her parents at that point.
Okay. We also have, um, I saw that Roman was mad, and we have like a timeline of how long this story's been going on. It's been 6 months of this strangler being loose. He said he's mad because they're not able to catch the strangler, and it's been 6 months. I caught that.
Did you see that party that they were at and everybody was in costumes? I was like,
Yes.
is it Halloween or is this just a themed party? Like I was trying to like gauge what time of year it was.
I was confused too because I'm like, if it's 81, that storyline probably would have been over by summer because they like in rewatching Bold and the Beautiful, like for seasons, I see how they do it. They kind of do it per season and they wrap up storylines in May sweeps usually. And then they start with a summer storyline and continue, different stories. Um, so I'm thinking it might not have been Halloween, but what would it be for? I don't know. I was confused. Unless it did go to the next Halloween, which it might be 82 in Halloween time. I don't know.
So, okay. I know that this story started in June of 81. And I
Okay.
know And I know that Roman comes in either November or December of 81.
Okay.
So if it's only been 6 months, then it should be like around Christmas
May.
or January.
No, wait, what? No,
If if this guy's been
no.
killing
So
6 months.
I'm guessing because Roman's been on the case for 6 months, so probably it's probably around like April or May of 82.
Okay, so then
I'm
it must have just
thinking
been a costume party.
because it feels like they're gonna catch on soon because Jake's getting like out of control, kind of. It seems.
Yeah, and I think the story only lasted till I think it went from June to June. So June of 81 to June of
Yeah,
80.
which
So
makes sense.
we must be,
Uh,
I mean, we don't have that much left to watch, so we must be coming to the end.
I also have Neil comes by. Neil calls Anthony Tony because he wanted to be called Anthony. I don't know. I just thought it was weird and funny. Um, and that's
Didn't
all I got.
don't remember hearing anything about Liz. This was like Liz was very absent from these clips.
So Liz was married to Don, right?
Yes.
So I think they ended their relationship. So I don't know what she did after that, but I guess they just cut it all out.
Hmm.
Because that's why Don was after Marlena again and wanted to go on a date with her. Because he ended it with Liz,
I thought
apparently.
maybe it was over between them because I don't see Don just openly like trying to get with Marlena again.
That's what I read, but I don't know who Liz gets involved with. I didn't read that far in my book.
She
So,
must get involved with Neil pretty soon
oh,
because
okay, is that who she gets involved with?
they end up having a daughter together not too long from this.
Now,
So
see, if I were Liz, I personally would not go after Neil because Neil and Marlena are always together. So I would be like, even though they're friends, I'd be like, I'm not gonna fuck with that guy because I
I
already
already,
fucked with one of Marlena's guys that screwed me over.
but
But
all right,
anyway, yeah, I do. I like where it's going. Uh, I wish we had more because
I know.
I see all these different parts of things, and I'm like, oh, I just want to see, when it all comes out.
Yeah.
But
Uh, well, thank God for the internet and Wikipedia.
yeah, I'll be Googling. I'll be Googling.
But all right. Well, thanks for joining us for another edition of us covering the parts of the Salem Strangler. Um, we're hoping to get through the rest of the storyline before October ends, hopefully. So this will be like our spooky season coverage. As
Ooh.
always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, have a great night. Bye.
Bye.